We are your Hurricane HQ, and forget about drones. Scientists are gearing up for another hurricane season where they're going to be testing out sharks as a way to collect data on storms. How great is that? Researchers are taking advantage of the natural behaviors of sharks as they swim around the oceans, replacing expensive ships or gliders that would be doing the same dang thing. Tags on the shark collect information below the surface of the sea, and it creates a network of living sensors. Joining us now is Carlisle, Associate Professor, School of Marine Science and Policy at the University of Delaware. Professor, again, great to talk to you. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here this afternoon. One thing I got to ask you is who's tagging these sharks? Are you guys doing it?
We're doing it. Yep. Well, we're trying to do it as often as we can.
That's all.
Many times we get out in the water, as many tags as we have, we'll be out there trying to stick them on the animals.
Now, what kind of sharks are we talking about?
It's a variety of different kinds, really, and it all depends on the sharks and their behavior. So if the sharks don't come to the surface frequently, then they don't serve our purposes very well. So we're using this new animal-borne tag that we put on the dorsal fin, and it collects this oceanographic data. And when the shark comes to the surface, its fin breaks the surface, and the tag is then exposed to the air, and it transmits data to orbiting satellite receivers, which then port the data back to us, and then we send that out to the broader community of modelers and atmospheric scientists who use these data to make predictions and climate models and oceanographic models and things like that.
So cool. And so what exactly were we measuring in the atmosphere?
So we're actually measuring things in the ocean, so not even the atmosphere.
Oh, okay,
so it's because the as you probably are well aware, the strength of a hurricane is really dictated by how warm the ocean is, how much heat is in the water column. And so we need to know how much heat is down in that water column from the surface to the bottom of the ocean, or at least really up in the mixed layer, the top kind of surface layer of the ocean. And so the sharks swim around up and down doing their normal sharky thing. And basically they're recording temperature and depth and salinity, all of which tell us different aspects of what's going on in the water column to let us better predict how much heat there is.
Yeah, the heat content is exactly what we need. That's a Mako right there. I could see that's so great. So you started doing this. This isn't the first year you started doing this, right?
No, we've been playing around with this for a while, and the real trick has been that these tags were originally designed for air-breathing animals, so like elephant seals and sea turtles and things like that. And sharks are very different; they don't have to breathe. So we've had, and their bodies are obviously very different than elephant seals and marine mammals too. So we've had to basically work with our collaborators in the tagging world to come up with a new tag design that'll work on these animals and operate in a way that harnesses their natural behaviors to collect the data we need. Because battery is limited, the size of the tag is limited, so we have to really optimize everything to ensure that we get data back.
Yeah. So how many sharks have we tagged so far, Aaron?
Probably on the order of 8 to 10 or so. And it's every time we kind of do a slow rollout of these tags, because every time we put them out, we learn something new. So we put a few out and we say, okay, how did they work? And then they work, or some parts didn't. And then we modify them to improve them. And then the next ones, we put out a few more, and so on and so forth. And so we haven't really been doing it at scale yet. So we've only been putting out tags to test. This summer is going to be the first time that we start putting out more. And hopefully by next year, these data will be more operational and be actually used in climate predictions and oceanographic modeling.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a screwy type of year anyway. You're talking about an El Nino out across the Pacific, and that's going to stir up the waters out across the Atlantic as well. I'm assuming you guys are all. Are you going into the southeast part? Are you talking just offshore from the Carolinas? Are you going into the Gulf, the Caribbean? Where are you guys tagging the sharks?
So in the future, everywhere, right?
Yeah.
These are the ideas. These are tools that you could put out anywhere around the world, and they'll provide valuable data. But for us, we're located in Delaware in the Mid-Atlantic, so we're doing most of our tagging regionally, so off of Delaware, the Carolinas, that area.
Have you noticed last year? I know you had some sharks that were tagged. We didn't have a lot of hurricane activity or tropical storm activity, but do storms affect the way the sharks hunt where they are?
Storms themselves, yeah, I'm sure they probably do. They don't probably stay around when the storm hits. And indeed, there's a lot of data from coastal sharks that when hurricanes come close, they skedaddle, they move.
Wow.
They go offshore, they go to deep waters. And so everything gets stirred up, as you said, when a storm goes rolling through, and that changes the whole kind of dynamic of the ecosystem, and everything changes. So, but I can't say that we actually have any good data of how these animals react. These kind of migratory sharks, like a Mako shark, like you're showing on the screen there.
Right.
We don't really know how they react to a hurricane itself because we just don't have data. Yes. I think hopefully these tags will start to tell us some of that. Yeah.
It's so cool. I'm assuming they're chasing whatever they're eating, and if those fish don't care for hurricanes, they're not going to beat them either. But
Yep.
that's a fascinating part right there. If you can get a shark, at least 3 or 4 sharks pinging with the water temperatures at ahead immediately of that hurricane. I mean, you talk about how with the heat content in the water. This is going to be fantastic information to get.
That's our hope. And again, it's not going to be replacing existing tools like you said, gliders or drones or satellites or
Hmm.
boats. It's just going to supplement them and help fill in a lot of the gaps of ocean, of parts of the ocean that are harder to get observations. And again, because sharks are everywhere, they're not. They're pretty accessible, and their behaviors and the fact that they move really far distances really quickly kind of gives them. They pop up all over the place, providing little snapshots of what's going on in the ocean all over the North Atlantic. And so the idea is over time that'll give us a much better idea of that kind of seascape of ocean heat content, and then that'll let us better predict where those hurricanes will end up going, or at least how strong they're going to be.
That'd be great. If we get those tags that last more than a couple of years, we can start seeing a trend, which would be fantastic.
Yeah,
Aaron,
absolutely.
right? Aaron, thank you so much for sharing this with it. I mean, you're talking my language right there. Sharks tagging in hurricanes. Can't beat that for a show.
Yeah, I agree.
You got a fun job. You got a fun job, Aaron. I appreciate you talking to me about it.
Happy to talk anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. Good to see you.